but instead he got a dog that chased him away. So we pick up the story of poor Prince Rupert. Now he's running down the road, and finally he gets rid of that dog. So he says, well, I'm going to have to just find someplace else to live. So he's stumbling around the bog, and it's stinky, and it's dark, and it's kind of spooky looking, and he's saying to himself, I can't do this. I'm just going to have to go back to the castle and see if my brother the king maybe will be nice to me and give me some food. So he went all the way back to the castle, and he got through the guards at the gate because they realized he was still a prince, so he let him in. And he got all the way into the throne room to see his brother the king. But his brother the king said, you got your inheritance. It's your fault if you lost it. Goodbye, don't bother me again. And he kicked poor Rupert out without anything at all. Now poor Prince Rupert was very sad about this. And as he went back to the bog, he said to himself, I've got to find some place to live. I think there's an old abandoned shack that I passed on the way to the castle. Maybe I can stay there. Now he didn't know it, but when he passed by the bog, which is a great big swamp, somebody was listening. It was a boggle. You know what a boggle is? A boggle is a creature that can sort of turn into anything you're thinking about. So the boggle was listening to poor Prince Rupert talk about how sad his life was and how mean his brother the king had been. And Prince Rupert said, oh, at this point I would just be grateful for a pot of stew, plain old pot of stew. So the bogle said, oh, the poor prince. And quick as a wink, he turned himself into a pot, one of those little iron pots on 3 iron legs. And he set himself down by the end of the bog. And Prince Rupert comes along and he looks down and he says, oh, a pot. What a very nice pot, just the kind of pot I was thinking of. Too bad there's no stew in it, but it's a nice pot. I'll bring it with me and maybe someday I'll get some stew to put in it. So he picked up the pot and he walked down the road, and sure enough, there was the abandoned cottage that he thought there was. And he went inside with his pot and he put it down. He says, well, at least I can have a nice fire in here. There's a fireplace. I'll go get some wood. And off he went out into the bog to get himself some wood for a fire. Now, as soon as he went out the door, the pot that was really a boggle said, oh, you poor prince, I'm going to see if I can do something nice for you. Trippity-trappity, out the door he ran. And I'll tell you about what happens, but we need a song first. Okay? Boys and girls, come out. Moon is shining bright as day, the clock struck midnight, and it's a perfect night to have a pillow fight. Whack your brother in the head and tell him to get out of bed. Whack your sister with all your might, and then run down the stairs and out the door. All your friends are running to meet you. They all brought their pillows too. Susie Neat from down the street, who's always been so very sweet, is out for blood tonight, and she wants yours. Then she whaps you hard and runs away. You run after trippity-trappity, trippity-trappity, running to the old town square, and everyone in town is there with feather pillows flapping everywhere. Now Widow Belle, who's old as heck, just whapped the sheriff in the neck. The sheriff tried to whap her back, but he got whacked. And Cassie, who's a pretty lass, whapped her boyfriend in the nose and laughed so hard, I don't think they will last. And there's feathers flying everywhere. Watch out, look out, whippity-flappity, whippity-flappity, Reverend Preacher Honeycutt whapped your teacher in the gut, while the choir sang a hymn and said amen. Then Mistress Pimp, who runs the inn, whapped Preacher in the chin, and the choir sang amen again. And there's feathers flying everywhere. Watch out, look out, whippity-flappity, whippity-flappity, little Nick and little Nell whapped the mare into the well. The mare climbed out, got whapped again, and back he fell. And Susie Neat from down the street, who's always been so very sweet, just got whapped by you, and I won't tell. And there's feathers flying everywhere. Watch out, look out, whippity-flappity, whippity-flappity. All you people go ahead and whap each other in the head, and I'll just sneak up and go back to bed. All right, so anyway, Prince Rupert has not got anything at all from his brother the king, and he's feeling very hungry, and all he really wanted was a pot of stew, but the bogle turned himself into a pot, but there isn't any stew. So the bogle, who has now turned himself into a pot, goes running back trippity-trappity to the palace of the king, and he sneaks into the kitchen, and he goes up beside the royal cook, and and he sits down right next to her foot. And the royal cook looks down and says, "Oh, a pot. What a perfect little pot for stew." And she picks up the pot and she fills it full of meat and vegetables, and she hangs it up over the fire to make a nice stew. And when the stew is all bubbly and done, the pot let itself off the hook and went running out the door, with the cook running after, going, "Stop, stop." But the pot was faster. And when Prince Rupert got back from gathering wood, there, in the old abandoned cottage, sitting in the middle of the floor, was a pot full of bubbly stew. Prince Rupert was so grateful, he ate every single bite. Then he washed the pot very nicely and cleaned it all up. And the pot said, "Ooh, this is a very nice prince with very good manners. I'm going to have to see what else I can do for him." So, as soon as the prince tucked himself in a pile of rags in the corner of the hut, the pot said, "I'm going to go back to the castle and see what else I can do for this nice prince." I'm going to sing another song. Let's see, I'm going to sing about a leather-winged bat. I said, "The little leather-winged bat, I tell to you, the reason that I fly by night is 'cause I lost my heart's delight. Ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day, ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day, ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day. Hey, lee-lee-li-lee-lo." I said, "The blackbird sitting in a chair, once I courted Lady Fair. She grew false and turned her back, and ever since then I dressed in black. Ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day, ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day, ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day. Hey, lee-lee-li-lee-lo." I said, "The woodpecker sitting on a fence, once I courted a handsome wench. She grew false and from me fled, and ever since then my head's been red. La-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day, ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day, ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day. Hey, lee-lee-li-lee-lo." I said, "A little turtle dove will tell you how to win her love. Court her night and court her day. Never give her chance to tell you nay. Ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day, ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day, ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day. Hey, lee-lee-li-lee-lo." I said, "The jay and the way he flew, and I court me too. If one grow false, from me go. I add the other string to my bow. Ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day, ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day, ah-di-da-di-diddle-dum-day. Hey, lee-lee-li-lee-lo." There you go. So I like the song, Leather-Winged Bat. Okay, so anyway, the pot decides to go back to the castle to see what else he can do for poor Prince Rupert. So off he goes, trippity-trappity on his three little legs, and he goes sneaking into the pantry where the butler is polishing up all the silver. Very quietly, he sneaks up next to the butler and sits down next to his foot. And the butler looks down and says, "Oh, a pot. What a perfect thing for rinsing these spoons." And he filled up the pot with water, and he slipped all the silver spoons in one by one, and as soon as he finished, off ran the pot, with the butler chasing after him, going, "Stop, stop!" But the pot was faster, and the pot came back to the little abandoned cottage, and when Prince Rupert woke up in the morning, there was a pot full of silver spoons waiting for him. "Silver spoons," said Prince Rupert. "I can sell these in town, and I'll have enough food to feed me for a month." He says, "This is really wonderful." He says, "Well, maybe even I can get some new clothes, because these are all threadbare and torn. I really need new clothes." So Prince Rupert took all the silver spoons and headed off into town. "New clothes, huh?" said the pot. "I think maybe I can do something about that." And off he went out the door, trippity-trappity. Time for another song. Now, you've heard some of these songs before, but is it okay if we do the one with the clapping again now that you know how to do it? Okay? Remember, it goes, "And it's no, nay, never, clap, 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 no, nay, never, no more." See, they've heard a different song that does the same thing. So that's why they know where the claps are, but you can clap too, okay? And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I be a wild zombie. No, never, no more. Pretty good. Like I say, it's very hard to find songs about zombies. You sort of have to make do. Well, I've been a wild zombie for many a year, and I like eating brains, although folks called me weird. But now I'm reformed, I'm vegetarian, and I never will be a wild zombie again. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I be a wild zombie. No, never, no more. You haven't heard this one. You need to hear this one. Okay. I went to the market, and what did I see? But an eye, a potato was looking at me. A sweet ear of corn, and a dear cabbage head, and an artichoke heart, and a warm heel of bread. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild zombie. No, never, no more. I'll make finger food out of veggies and dips, and only toe cheese will pass these pure lips. I'll make a nice tea of Earl Grey and rose hips, and I promise to sit out the apocalypse. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild zombie. No, never, no more. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild zombie. No, never, no more. Huzzah! Good job, you did that well. Excellent job. Okay, so anyway, Prince Rupert has